One of the biggest enemies of photography is camera shake. This is the blurriness of your pictures caused by having a shutter speed which is too slow to be able to hand hold. And when your camera uses slow shutter speeds, it picks up the vibration in the hands, which is ever present when you're hand holding a camera. Now the main cures for that are either to use a tripod, which you may not want to carry around with you, or to use a faster shutter speed. Now in recent years, camera manufacturers have come up with technologies to try and counter the effects of camera shake, and this is known as image stabilisation. But there are different ways of doing it. Canon and Nikon use a stabilisation system in the lens, referred to as optical image stabilisation, in which one of the elements in the lens sort of floats around and moves inside the lens to counter the shakiness of your hands. Pentax, Olympus and Sony have a sensor which moves rather than the lens. So the sensor is on some sort of gyroscopic device which again floats around slightly to counter the effect of movement. Now there are pros and cons to both systems. One of the benefits of the optical system is that the stabilisation system in the lens can be optically matched to the specific lens. If you've got a very big heavy telephoto lens, you'll probably want a different motor and different system than if you've got a much smaller, more compact lens. Another of the advantages of optical image stabilisation is that it stabilises the view inside the viewfinder. If you've ever used binoculars, you'll see trying to hold them steady and to get rid of that shake is quite difficult. Whereas with the stabilisation in the lens, it actually stabilises the view. Whereas when the sensor is doing the stabilisation, the effect is done at the sensor point and not in the viewfinder, so you still get a shaky view in the viewfinder. But there are advantages to sensor stabilisation. The main one is that because it's in the body, any lens that you attach to the camera is therefore stabilised. So you can attach even old lenses and you still get the stabilisation. Whereas with optical image stabilisation, you have to buy the stabilised lenses as opposed to the non-stabilised lenses, and they do cost more. So that's a factor to consider when buying a camera. It's how many lenses you're likely to buy and how much it's likely to cost you to get the stabilised versions of all the lenses.